Chapter 781. Finally, after confirming Lu Jingli's feelings for her, coupled with the sense of crisis brought by Ningxi's appearance, Yang Shiro's psychological defenses finally collapsed. She stopped playing and quickly chased after Lu Jingli. By the roadside, Lu Jingli was about to get into the car. Behind him, Yang Shiro called out to him, panting, "Mr. Lu, can we talk?" In the corner, Ningxi narrowed her eyes. She could finally draw in the net. The private room in the restaurant where Lu Jingli and Yang Shiro were talking was a big room with a compartment inside. Ningxi had already made an appointment with Yin Juanhao. At this moment, Yin Juanhao was in that compartment. Ningxi used her identity as Yang Shiro's best friend to invite Yin Juanhao over. She said that she had something important to tell him, and Yin Juanhao immediately rushed over. After waiting for a while, he suddenly heard two people's footsteps outside, followed by a familiar voice. It was Yang Shiro. Yin Juanhao was about to go out when he heard a man's voice. So out of a man's instinct, he subconsciously held his breath and stopped in his tracks. "Miss Yang, what can I do for you?" Lu Jingli asked politely and indifferently. Yang Shiro was afraid that Lu Jingli would disappear again, so she said hurriedly, "Mr. Lu, you've misunderstood. The man you saw in the parking lot that day has nothing to do with me. At that time, he forced me." "Who was that man?" Lu Jingli asked deliberately. Yang Shiro explained even more anxiously. "He's a customer I met at my previous workplace. He's a very nice person, and he helped me a lot. I'm very grateful to him, but that's all. I know that he might have some other thoughts about me, but I've only ever felt grateful to him. And I've always rejected his advances. He already has a wife. How could I break up his family? You don't like him." "How could I like him?" Yang Shiro said anxiously. In the end, she said shyly, "Mr. Lu, I like you. Actually, I've liked you since the first time I saw you. It's just that you're too far away from me. I've never thought that you'd actually." "Is that person called Yin Juanhao?" Lu Jingli asked. Yang Shiro did not expect that Lu Jingli had already found out the other party's identity. Her face stiffened slightly. She was glad that she had spoken up first and seized the initiative. With a pained expression, she said, "Yes. You also know that he has power and influence. I can't fight back at all. I can only hide as much as I can." The next second, there was a loud bang and the cubicle door was slammed open. Yin Juanhao rushed out with bloodshot eyes and slapped Yang Shiro's face. "Bitch!" Yang Shiro was stunned when she saw Yin Juanhao. "Jin Juanhao, why are you here? If I wasn't here, how would I know that you're such a lowly person? You keep saying that I'm your everything, and that you're willing to die for me." Upon hearing this, Yang Shiro's first reaction was to look at Lu Jingli anxiously. "Mr. Lu, let me explain." Yin Juanhao also glared at Lu Jingli angrily, and then he was stunned. Wasn't he the second young master of the Lu group? How could Yang Shiro be related to such a person? Could there be some misunderstanding? Lu Jingli, on the other hand, had an innocent expression on his face. He shrugged and said, "I just come to this restaurant often to eat. I admired Miss Yang's piano playing and chatted for a while. However, Miss Yang seems to have misunderstood me." Yang Shiro's face was filled with disbelief. "What? You gave me flowers, and even treated me to a meal," Lu Jingli said. And then? Yang Shiro could not say a word. Lu Jingli had never said anything out of line, nor had he done anything out of line. Moreover, he had always been a flirtatious person. He had given flowers to many women. Was all of this just wishful thinking on her part? Chapter 782. Late at night. In a villa in the south of the city, the assistant carefully carried a gorgeous gown into the bedroom. "Sister Yu, I've chosen the clothes for Fashion Week. Do you want to take a look? It's a histidi gown. I saw that you were quite impressed with their designer's style, so..." Qin Shengyue sat in front of the dresser absent-mindedly. She didn't even look at it and said casually, "Leave it." Oh. Seeing that Qin Shengyue didn't refuse, the assistant heaved a sigh of relief and quickly put the gown down. After leaving, the assistant immediately sent a text to the person who asked her for help. "No problem. I've handed it over to Sister Yu." In the room, Qin Xingyue stared blankly at the gown on the bed for a while. Then she took out a document from the drawer. It was a divorce agreement. In the past few days, Yan Juanhao's attitude towards her had become colder and colder, and he had been urging her to get a divorce even more urgently. It had even reached the point where he didn't care about his reputation, and went straight to court. She got up and slowly opened the cabinet. Inside was a beautiful runway gown. It was the gown she would wear on the international stage for the first time. Her personality was indeed a little capricious and fiery, and she wasn't as gentle and considerate as that woman. However, this didn't mean that she had given less in this relationship. Originally, she had the chance to become a top supermodel and walk at the top of the pyramid, but for this man, she had resolutely given up her dream. In the end, what did she get in return? She was nothing compared to a woman who sang in a bar. Divorce? She had paid such a price. She had broken her own wings, and now she was asked to get a divorce. How could she be willing to watch those two fly away together? However, she had already come this far. Other than divorce, what other path did she have? She raised her head slightly and looked at the time on the wall. It would be midnight in a few minutes. At this moment, she suddenly subconsciously thought of the girl she had met in the parking lot that day and her promise. She couldn't help but smile bitterly. She slowly opened the drawer and took out a divorce agreement with trembling hands. At this time, the door was suddenly pushed open from the outside. Yan Juanhao, who hadn't been home for more than half a month, was standing at the door, staring at her with bloodshot eyes. His gaze made Qin Xingyue's heart ache. "Didn't I say I would give you an answer tomorrow? You can't even wait one night?" The next second, Yan Juanhao dropped to his knees in front of her and slapped himself hard. He hugged her legs and said, "Wifey, I was wrong. Please forgive me. Please." Qin Xingyue. At that moment, a voice suddenly sounded in Qin Xingyue's mind. "I promise I'll make your husband cry when he comes back to find you. He'll slap himself while begging for your forgiveness." Then her cell phone suddenly rang. She received a new message. "Miss Qin, please give me a 5-star review if you're satisfied." Zealing. The next night, in a private room of the Imperial Hotel, Qin Xingyue finally sized up the girl in front of her. How did you do it?" I asked Junhao for the reason, but he didn't say anything. He just kept saying that he was wrong and begged me to forgive him. This was within Ningxi's expectation. As a man, how could Yan Juanhao tell his wife that he was cheated on by a mistress? "Nothing special. I just hired a man to hook up with Yang Shiro, and let your husband catch her on the spot," Ningxi explained simply. Chapter 783. Qin Xingyue looked enlightened, but she was more suspicious. Is it that easy? She wasn't boasting, but it was true that with Yan Juanhao's qualifications, it was impossible for Yang Shiro to be seduced by another man when he was only one step away from the top. Everything is possible. Ningxi only said this one sentence. Qin Xingyue didn't want to hear more about that woman, so she didn't ask further. She looked at Ningxi and said, "No matter how you did it, I will fulfill my promise. I will wear your designs even if they are shit." Ningxi's face darkened. "I know I'm using unorthodox means to achieve my goal. It's not honorable, but my designer is really capable." As he spoke, he handed her a folder. It was full of introductions about their studio and Gongshang's works. Qin Xingyue took it and glanced at it, but her expression gradually changed. "Are you the studio that won the Golden Top Award?" "Yes. I didn't pay much attention to the outside world because of my husband's incident. I didn't expect the winner of the Golden Top Award this time." "Interesting. What's the relationship between your designer and Daiwei? Why do they look like the same person?" "They look like the same person at different times. Daiwei's style is a bit immature, but full of passion and vitality, while ZX's style is more mature and explosive," Qin Xingyue analyzed. She was indeed a professional. Ningxi nodded. "I can't say anything now, but one day, the truth will be revealed." Qin Xingyue thought for a bit, closed the folder and asked, "Since you even have the Golden Top Award, why are you worried about not getting a job? Why did you try so hard to find me?" Ningxi scratched her head. "On one hand, the market is saturated. You can see that our style is the same as history's. On the other hand, We haven't found a suitable sales manager yet. Some studios have designers who are also sales managers, but our designer is the kind of person who focuses on design, so I don't want to distract him. Qin Xingyue tapped the table with her knuckles and said, I'll give you one. Ha! Ningxi blinked. Give me one? Give me what? I'm giving him to you. He's the ace of my marketing department, Qin Xingyue said nonchalantly. Oofed. Ningxi almost spat out the coffee in her mouth. You can give people away? Big sister, aren't you being too generous? Why not? Do you want it? It's fine if you don't want it. Wait. Let me ask first, is the one you gave me a man or a woman? Is there a difference? Qin Xingyue asked. Ningxi nodded vigorously. Of course there's a difference. If it's a man, forget it. Why? Qin Xingyue didn't understand. What? Of course, it was because he was afraid that the great demon king would be jealous. The last time he picked up Gongshangzi, Lu Tingxiao had already flipped out. This time, it would be even worse if he accepted a man. That's because my designer has a weird habit. He can't draw a draft when he sees a man. Ningxi pulled Gongshangzi out to block him. Qin Xingyue didn't expect that to be the reason. She couldn't help but laugh. However, it was understandable. Many designers had some unknown quirks. Don't worry. It's a woman. Ningxi heaved a sigh of relief. All right then. Fine. I want it. If it was a woman, it would definitely be fine. It should be fine, right? Chapter 784. That's settled then. I'll get her to report to you later. Qin Xingyue made the final decision. Ningxi was suddenly a little worried. Well, is your ace expensive? If it's too expensive, I can't afford it even if you give her to me. Besides, will she agree? After all, this is a small place. Since it's a gift, of course you don't have to pay. I signed a 5-year contract with her, and there's still 1 year left. I'll transfer her to you this year. After a year, it's up to her to decide if she wants to stay with you or come back to me. Ningxi frowned and thought about it. Although Qin Xingyue said so, she really didn't have to pay. However, this ace was with Qin Xingyue. Since her performance was the best, her annual salary should be at least a few million, right? And this was a conservative estimate. When she came to her small studio, she might only get a basic salary. This difference, finally, Ningxi gritted her teeth. Fine, I'll go all out. I want this person. If my studio can't rise within a year, I'll make up for her losses myself. Qin Xingyue looked at the girl in front of her, and a trace of admiration flashed across her eyes. Don't worry, my ace isn't someone to be trifled with. If she can only get a basic salary within a year, I don't have to give her to you. You don't have to worry about her ability, but whether or not you can subdue her and make her work for you will depend on yourself. Okay, I understand. Ningxi nodded. Oh yeah, remember to prepare 3 sets of clothes for me, okay? Qin Xingyue suddenly reminded her. That's a lot of 3 sets? Are we giving you alternatives? Ningxi didn't understand. Qin Xingyue glanced at her. Not alternatives. All 3 sets must be of high quality. I want to wear them all. 1 set for the morning, afternoon, and evening. Am I only going to wear 1 set of clothes for such an important occasion? What? You're willing to wear 3 sets of clothes? Ningxi was shocked. What did you think? I thought you would at most wear 1. After all, she was the vanguard of fashion. It was already hard enough for her to have 1 set of clothes that was the work of a cutting-edge designer. In order to maintain her image, her other clothes were all custom-made by top international brands. This time, she was actually willing to completely become a showcase for their activities. Qin Xingyue looked indifferent. It's nothing. I'm in a good mood today. Of course. Ningxi was speechless. Okay. She really didn't expect that her impulsive suggestion would ultimately bring her much more benefits than she had expected. She had not invited her own brother-in-law in vain. After all, she and Lu Jingli had been going back and forth for a week. It wasn't in vain that she yelled until her voice was hoarse. She taught Lu Jingli, that playboy, how to seduce girls. Qin Xingyue rested her chin on her hand and glanced at her. Suddenly, she said awkwardly, Hey, to be honest, are you looking down on me? My husband is already treating me like this, and I'm still hoping that he will change his mind. Ningxi scratched her head. With my temper, it doesn't matter if I'm unfaithful once or 100 times. But every family has its own difficulties. You must have your own difficulties, right? Yes, difficulties. Qin Xingyue sighed. She smiled bitterly and murmured, because the price is too high. I traded my most precious thing for him, my dream. Chapter 785. Ningxi knew that Qin Xingyue had quit the international fashion show and stayed in the capital because of Yin Juanhao. In some ways, Qin Xingyue was quite similar to her, who had given up her dream of acting for Su Yan. That was probably why she couldn't help but help her. However, compared to Qin Xingyue, she had chosen a completely different path. Although it was difficult to find the most precious things in herself, she never regretted it. The Lu family's old residence. Hey girl. You're so busy studying and working. I didn't expect you to know how to cook. Yen Rui looked at the dishes made by Guan Ziao on the table in surprise. There was no one at home today, so she took the opportunity to call Guan Ziao over. She wanted to have a private chat with her and understand more about her life outside all these years. In the end, not only was this girl elegant and knowledgeable, but she had also made a few of her specialties. Although they were just ordinary home-cooked dishes, it was already rare. Guan Ziao was surprised. I lived alone when I was studying abroad. It's all because of that. It's just that I didn't do it well. I hope you don't mind, Auntie. Listen to what you're saying. You're already very good. Most girls nowadays don't do housework. It's rare that you still have the heart to do it when you're so busy. I might be a little traditional, but I still think that although people like us don't need to cook every day, the meaning of cooking is definitely different. You're right, Auntie. Yen Rui herself had good cooking skills, so for her daughter-in-law's standards, cooking skills were still very important. She had thought that a spoiled young lady like Guan Ziao wouldn't know how to cook since she was so busy with her work and studies. She hadn't expected her to know how to cook. It was a pleasant surprise. By the way, Ziao, your yam pork rib soup is very good. I'll bring some to boss later. Why don't you come with me? Yen Rui took the opportunity to suggest. Guan Ziao looked troubled. Sorry, Auntie. I have a plan to work on when I get back tonight. I might not be able to go. If she went with Yen Rui, she might get a chance to get close to Lu Tingxiao, but she would inevitably make use of his mother's dislike. She would naturally know when to stop and not do anything that might annoy Lu Tingxiao. Besides, Lu Tingxiao had a girlfriend now. If she was too attentive, it would not be good. It was enough for her to accompany Yen Rui. Yen Rui was even more satisfied when she saw that she was not in a hurry and acted appropriately. All right then. Come to visit again some other time. Yes, Auntie, Guan Ziao replied politely. At the Platinum Gold Palace. In the dining room, Lu Jingli looked at the table full of dishes. His mouth watered, and his eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Fuck. Little Cece. Are you crazy? You're really going to make a Manchuhan imperial feast. Ningxi put her hands on her hips and hummed happily. Can't I? I'm in a good mood today. Of course. Lu Jingli happily picked up a piece of his favorite sweet and sour pork ribs. Looks like things are going well. Qin Xingyue already agreed. Not only did he agree, he's even willing to wear 3 sets. There won't be the same ones in the morning, afternoon, and evening. By the way, she also gave me a person. It's her subordinate. Before he could finish his sentence, Lu Jingli's familiar, loud voice of complaint was heard in the next second. Chapter 786. Oh, brother. You have to control your wife. That Qin guy sent your wife one by one. Ningxi kicked him. She's a woman. Oh, she gave your wife one woman. Ningxi couldn't take it anymore. She gave me the trump card of the marketing department to help me manage the market and sales. And she's a woman. Lu Jingli snorted. Is there a difference between a man and a woman to you? Ningxi glared at him, then picked up a piece of delicious braised pork and ran to Lu Tingxiao, who was working on documents in the living room. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her and opened his mouth. The braised pork melted in his mouth and was very flavorful. He didn't know how she cooked it, but it wasn't greasy at all. Lu Tingxiao had never had a taste for food. Ever since he ate her cooking, he began to understand why Lu Jingli loved food so much. After feeding him, Ningxi immediately whispered in Lu Tingxiao's ear, "Mr. Boss, don't listen to his nonsense. There's no difference between a man and a woman to me, because for me, there are only two genders in this world. One is other, and the other is you." Lu Jingli bent over and pretended to vomit. "Ugh, don't say such flowery words. My brother isn't that gullible." Lu Tingxiao. "Okay." Lu Jingli. Lu Tingxiao said, "Qin Xinghua transferred this person to you. You have to observe her carefully. The market isn't child's play. However, if she's really Qin Xinghua's trump card, then she's definitely capable. Give me a copy of her resume later. I'll take a look at it for you." Ningxi nodded. Okay, thank you, dear Lu Jingli." Why did he end up being forced to eat dog food? He still had to keep his stomach for good food. Fuck, Xiaobao. Put down my glutinous rice ribs. Lu Jingli's heart felt as if it was being twisted by a knife when he realized that his favorite glutinous rice ribs had already been eaten by Xiaobao. Xiaobao blinked and ate another piece without the slightest hesitation. Ouch, my heart hurts. Just as Lu Jingli was about to defend his ribs with his life, a golden head popped in from the door. Jiang Mai had just finished a job and was about to go home. On the way, he was attracted by the aroma of food. Fuck. What are you doing? Do you want to bid farewell? It's not like it's the new year. Why are you making it so grand? Jiang Mai said as he took off the black mask on his face. Without using chopsticks, he directly picked up a salt and pepper prawn with his bare hands. He tasted it, and sure enough, it was made by Ningxi. Jiang Mai's eyes immediately lit up. "Uncle, can I freeload off you?" "No." Lu Jingli was on the verge of breaking down. "Why is there another one who snatches our food? These are mine. I earned them with my blood, sweat, and beauty." "Huh? Beauty? That's not the point. The point is, are you sure you want to freeload? You'll be stuffed with dog food." Lu Jingli used his trump card. Jiang Mai glanced at the two people on the sofa and then sat down. "At most, I'll close my eyes and eat." After so many days, he had calmed down a little. Some things couldn't be hidden forever. Lu Jingli. When it was time to eat, there was a lot of food on the dining table. Ningxi was originally worried that she had done too much, but when she saw Jiang Mai and Lu Jingli's attitude, she was not worried at all. Halfway through the meal, another person came from outside. Chapter 787. Lu Jingli swallowed a mouthful of food when he saw a graceful woman in a cheongsam standing beside Steward Yuan. "Hey, Mom, why are you here?" "Grandma." Jiang Mai flew into the air and greeted her with a muffled voice. "Mom." Lu Tingxiao greeted her and asked the servants to bring more bowls and chopsticks. Ningxi was peeling prawns for Xiaobao. She stood up when she saw them. "Mrs. Lu." Yan Rui paused when she saw Ningxi. "I'm here to bring you soup. What are you doing? Is it a special day? Why did you make so many dishes?" "Mu Yi is here too." "Oh, nothing. I did my sister-in-law a favor, and she made me a few more dishes to thank me." Yan Rui wasn't happy to hear Lu Jingli call Ningxi sister-in-law, but she didn't lose her temper for Xiaobao's sake. "She can cook? Try it." Lu Jingli picked up a piece of braised eggplant and gave it to Yan Rui. Yan Rui stuffed a mouthful of eggplant into her mouth. After a while, she frowned and said angrily, "You brat, didn't you order this from the Red House?" Lu Jingli's mouth twitched. "Come on, Mom. I raised the eggplant myself. Xiaobao washed it, my brother cut it, and my sister-in-law cooked it. Oh, Jiang Mai didn't do anything. He's here to freeload." Yan Rui watched Xiaobao eat like a squirrel. His cheeks bulged and he didn't even want to raise his head. Old people like to see their children eat, and Yan Rui was no exception. She couldn't bear to move her eyes. The little guy used to count the rice grains. Even though he changed, she had never seen him eat so happily. No wonder Xiaobao gained weight as soon as he was sent back. It seemed that this girl wasn't useless. At the very least, his culinary skills could not be trained without a few years of hard work. Although it was just eggplant, the simpler the dish, the more skills it required. She had tasted it, and found it was as good as the one made by the chef in the red restaurant. Mom, do you want to eat with us? Lu Jingli asked. I've already eaten. You guys can eat. Yan Rui patted her grandson's head. Xiaobao, eat slowly. Don't choke. Seeing that Grandma kept staring at him while eating, Xiaobao thought that she also wanted to eat. So he looked at the prawn that Aunt Xiaoxi had peeled for him in the bowl. After a hard struggle, he picked it up with his small chopsticks and sent it to Yan Rui's mouth. Grandma eats. Yan Rui was overwhelmed by the favor and hurriedly opened his mouth to take it. Ah, thank you, my precious grandson. It's delicious. Grandma, what are you holding in your hand? Jiang Mai asked casually. Yan Rui's expression stiffened. Nothing much. The kitchen made some yam pork rib soup, and I brought some for you. I don't think you can drink anymore. Just leave it here. Yan Rui looked at Xiaobao for a while, and was fed a few mouthfuls of food by Xiaobao. Finally, she left contentedly. When she returned and told the old man that Xiaobao had fed her, he would definitely be jealous to death. Yan Rui was a little distracted on the way back. Tonight, Ting Xiao, Jingli, Xiaobao, and Jiang Mai were all here. The whole family was eating happily at the table. It was really a family atmosphere. Xiaobao was like an ordinary happy child. It wasn't like how it used to be every time she came. It was always cold and cheerless, without the slightest hint of life. And all these changes seemed to be because of that woman. To be honest, if it wasn't for the incident with Xiaobao that caused her to have lingering fears, just based on how well she had taken care of Xiaobao, she would probably. Chapter 788. After Yan Rui left, Lu Jingli opened the lid of the pork rib soup. Although the chef in the old house was good, he was tired of it. He always felt that the food made by the chefs in the big restaurants tasted the same. But the chef there was good at making soup. Lu Jingli was about to have a taste when he spat it out. Damn it. It tastes bad? Are you kidding me? Are you sure it was made by the chef in the old house? Ningxi also took a sip. It's okay. It's not that good, but it's okay. You're too picky. Lu Tingxiao looked at the soup quietly and didn't say anything. Lu Jingli seemed to have thought of something as the corner of his mouth twitched. I bet that Guan Xiao made this soup. Otherwise, how could my mom send it over personally? I guess she wanted to show off. But it was ruined by Brother Shi's Manchuhan Imperial Feast. Ha. After dinner, Lu Jingli and Jiang Mai didn't hurry to leave. They sat on the sofa and watched TV. Because he was too full, he couldn't walk. Ningxi played Sudoku with Xiaobao for a while. Then she looked at the time and said to Lu Tingxiao, Boss, we're running out of time. I'm going to watch a movie. Lu Tingxiao nodded. Okay. Be careful. It's cold at night. Put on your scarf. Jiang Mai felt something was wrong. Watch a movie? What movie? Why didn't she and Lu Tingxiao go together? Ningxi was speechless. Jiang Mai, you're so unreliable. Don't you know your movie is going to be released today? Jiang Mai raised his eyebrows. Oh, you mean the world? So be it. He's just a supporting actor. I don't want to talk to you. I'm leaving. Ningxi kissed Xiaobao and put on her mask and sunglasses. Jiang Mai stood up and stopped her. Hey, wait. Forget it, I'll go with you. This is the first time I've played a supporting role since I started my career, he said. But won't my uncle go with you? Jiang Mai asked casually. Hearing that, Ningxi flew over and stamped on Jiang Mai's foot like a cat whose hair stood on end. Why are you so talkative? He's not going. He's in trouble. Sir boss, I'm leaving, bye-bye Yue. After saying that, she blew a kiss to Lu Tingxiao and quickly ran out with Jiang Mai. Why did you step on my foot? Jiang Mai, who was dragged all the way, hissed in dissatisfaction. I almost died because of you. Ningxi glared at him fiercely. What did I do? Jiang Mai suddenly realized something. Don't tell me it's because we are a couple in this movie? What do you think? Be careful. Or your uncle will ban you if he sees it. What if you act with other male actors in the future? How can he ban them one by one? Why not? All right. He really could. Jiang Mai looked at her with a complicated expression. To be honest, I'm quite surprised. I didn't expect that my uncle would still let you stay in the entertainment industry after you confirmed your relationship. What else? Keeping a mistress in a golden house. Ningxi said proudly. How could the man I chose be wrong? That's enough. In the evening, Ningxi had an appointment with Gong Shangzi and Han Momo. When they arrived at the cinema, they were already there. The three of them entered the cinema and sat in the corner of the last row. Han Momo had been curious when she saw the person next to Ningxi. After sitting down, she couldn't help but ask, Sister Shi, who's that next to you? Before Ningxi could answer, Jiang Mai, who sat next to Ningxi, took off his mask and looked at Han Momo. Are you asking me? Chapter 789. Aha! Ningxi glared at Jiang Mai and covered Han Momo's mouth before she could make a sound. Calm down. Ningxi felt that Han Momo was so excited that she was about to suffocate. She lowered her voice and said, Jiang Mai. Was it really Jiang Mai? Oh my god. Sister Shi, are you really a couple with Jiang Mai in private? I'm a fan of your CP. I think the two of you are super compatible. Be together. Jiang Mai rested his elbow on the armrest and supported his head with his hand. He was in a good mood. Tisk, it's rare to have such a girl with good taste. Do you have a pen? Oh no. What should I do? I'll go buy one. Han Momo was anxious. I do. Gong Shangzi had a pen and paper with him. Therefore, Jiang Mai took the pen and paper and signed his name on it. Han Momo was so excited that she almost fainted. Then she gave the paper to Ningxi. Sister Shi, I want yours too. Ningxi could only sign one for her speechlessly. Then, she saw Han Momo put a big heart on her and Jiang Mai's names after she signed the contract. She had never expected that there would be a fanatic fan of her and Jiang Mai. It was simply amazing. By the way, Shangzi, who's your favorite star? Me? I don't think I have a favorite star. Sister Shi, do you count? Haha, of course. The movie was about to start in a few minutes. The hall where Ningxi and the others were in was almost full. After all, the two main characters of this movie were A-list stars. Moreover, Jiang Mai was a big guarantee of the box office. Even if he only played a supporting role, his fans had already posted hundreds of tickets online. Ningxi was probably the only new star in the movie. Finally, the advertisement on the big screen ended, and the movie began. Ningxi took a deep breath. Phew. I'm so nervous. After all, it was the first day of her first movie. Although Under the Heavens wasn't weak in terms of investment or cast, Su Yimo's Sea of Stars, a famous comedy director's Happy Things, and a Hollywood blockbuster were screening on the same day. It could be said that the competition was fierce. The first scene of the movie was the scene where Shengguaningrong, played by Ning Xuelua, was being chased. The plot was tense and exciting. In an instant, the audience was brought into the plot. Many of Ning Xuelua's fans screamed excitedly in low voices. For a long time, the main theme was the two main characters. Shengguaningrong saved the male lead by accident, forced into the palace to avoid being chased, and fought with the male lead. In reality, this could be considered a movie with a female lead. In the movie, the character of Shengguaningrong stood out and attracted fans easily. She had a tragic background, but she was as resourceful as a female Zhuge. In the end, because of her identity, she could not become the male lead's empress. Instead, she became the most powerful female prime minister in the Qing kingdom. The female lead was so awesome, so of course she needed someone to serve as a foil. Ningxi, the vicious supporting female character, was undoubtedly used to serve as a foil for Ning Xuelua. In the end, Han Momo almost wanted to scold Ningxi for acting like a demon concubine. Sister Shi, you're so good at acting. She was really good at making people hate her. Chapter 790. Ningxi chuckled. Hearing the curses about Meng Chang'e, she was quite happy. Thank you for your compliment. However, as the plot progressed, Meng Chang'e's memories began to appear in the screen. As Meng Chang'e's identity was revealed step by step, the audience's attitude changed subtly. Ah, Jiang Mai is so handsome. Meng Chang'e's men's clothing is also a surprise. I thought that with her looks, she would definitely look stunning in men's clothes. I didn't expect Jiang Mai to play such a delicate and scholarly role. I really want to push him down. While they were talking, Meng Chang'e really tied Jiang Mai up and pushed him down in her room. Hey, Dr. Sun, you're blushing. Actually, you like me too, don't you? Why don't we just do what's done? The cinema was filled with screams and laughter. Oh my god. Aw. This is Muye's bondage in this film. I've been waiting for so long. It was Jiang Mai's first time watching this scene as an audience member. He couldn't help but touch his nose, feeling a little restless. Ningxi was very happy. Oh my, I'm so good at playing a hooligan. Don't you think so, golden hair? Bullshit. Do you even need to act? You're a hooligan. After this scene, the audience's reaction to Ningxi and Jiang Mai's first kiss at the Lantern Festival seemed to be more intense than they had expected. The screams almost broke through the roof. Oh my god. I'm falling in love with this couple. How can they be so cute? Oh my girl's heart. It's melted. To be honest, I've always felt that Jiang Mai had played so many bossy presidents and affectionate male leads, but none of them were sincere. I couldn't see how much he loved the female lead. But in this movie, I really saw love in his eyes. And it's the kind of deep, suppressed, and buried deep in his heart. He wants it but doesn't dare to want it. Hearing the comments around her saying that she and Jiang Mai were a good match, Ningxi was very glad that the devil was not here. Otherwise, the consequences. She might really be taken off the shelves. Jiang Mai's face darkened. Bullshit. How am I not paying attention? I have always been paying attention, okay? Also, what do you mean by repressed, deeply hidden, and buried in the depths of one's heart? A strong love that you want but don't dare to want? Did these people's eyes have to be so poisonous? Ningxi patted him on the shoulder. Don't struggle anymore. The audience's eyes are sharp. You've improved a lot with this show. The visual effects are much better. I can feel your love for me. Jiang Mai. Hearing Ningxi's serious analysis, Jiang Mai didn't know whether he should be relieved or disappointed in the whole play. The scene with the biggest reaction was probably the scene between Ningxi and Guan Xiaoqi. When Ningxi told concubine Xian, played by Guan Xiaoqi, that her real identity was Meng Chang'e, a memory came into her mind. This memory was the scene where Jiang Mai's heart was pierced by thousands of arrows in front of Ningxi. There was dead silence. After a while there was intermittent, suppressed crying. Ningxi roughly observed the scene, and found that 90% of the audience were crying, including the men. Han Momo, who was beside her, almost fainted from crying. Oh, so cruel. Can the military doctor not die? He will come back to life in the future, right? Jiang Mai was in a bad mood, so he said ruthlessly, no, he's dead. As soon as he finished speaking, Han Momo let out a cry and was about to stop breathing. Ningxi comforted Han Momo and glared at Jiang Mai. Chapter 791. The 2-hour movie finally came to an end, but the audience still wanted more. Although they didn't know what the box office would be like, Ningxi felt much more at ease after experiencing the audience's feedback and attitude. No matter what the box office was like, she had reached the level she wanted to bring to the audience. When they came out, they saw reporters interviewing random people outside the theater. Hello, Mississippi. Have you just finished watching The World? Yes. What do you think of the movie? It's great. It's even better than I imagined. Especially Sheng Guaningrong, who plays the role of Shui Luo. She's so powerful. She's my goddess. And the scene with Zhao Xizhou is so lovely. I cried when she and Chu Beichen couldn't be together in the end. Sir, whose performance in The World do you think left the deepest impression on you? It must be the female lead. She's really charming. By the way, will you be on TV? Yes. That's great. I want to tell my goddess that I love you, Shui Luo. Looking at the interview, Jiang Mai's handsome face was full of disdain. Damn. Do you think we're all idiots? Su Yan booked the theater for Ning Shui Luo's fans for free. They're all Ning Shui Luo's diehard fans. Of course they're all praising Ning Shui Luo. Gong Shangzi glanced at Ningxi. He was very confident in his boss. The audience has eyes. Word of mouth can't be faked. Speaking of Su Yan, I saw some gossip on the internet saying that Su Yan booked theaters for Ning Shui Luo's fans in every city to support her new movie. They're so in love. They're a clean stream in the entertainment industry, aren't they? Han Momo looked a little envious. Jiang Mai glanced at her. Huh, clean stream? little girl. Don't believe what you see on the surface so easily. After saying that, Jiang Mai looked at Ningxi worriedly. Fortunately, Ningxi's expression was very calm, without any abnormality. It seemed that she had completely let go of Su Yan. But it was no wonder. It was said that people couldn't forget their old love, but it was because their new love wasn't good enough. She and his uncle loved each other so much, so why would she care about Su Yan? Shangzai, how are the 3 sets of clothes for Qin Xingyue coming along? Ningxi asked on the way back. I've already prepared them. One of them is the Nirvana-themed red gown from the Golden Apex Awards. The other 2 are my latest works, Gong Shangzi said confidently. It seemed like his inspiration creation had been going well recently. All right, I'll bring it to Qin Xingyue tomorrow. By the way, Miss Qin promised to transfer a sales professional to us. He should be coming over soon. You two should prepare to welcome the new member. It's true. Great. Han Momo was excited. Gong Shangzi also heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at Ningxi with an expression full of reverence. Every time he felt that he had reached a dead end, she would always be able to find a way out and complete what he thought was absolutely impossible. At the side, Jiang Mai looked at Ningxi's fighting spirit and suddenly remembered what Ningxi said on the plane one day. She said that she wanted to keep Lu Tingxiao. Wasn't she just joking? Chapter 792. A week later, the Hua International Fashion Week, the most anticipated event in the Chinese fashion industry, officially kicked off in the capital. As a professional release platform for the top domestic fashion and ready-to-wear products, Fashion Week had become the main battlefield for well-known brands and designers to promote their image, show their creativity, and spread the fashion. It was no easy task to stand out among so many brands. Many brands had started preparing for it half a year in advance. Ningxi's studio had just been established, so she couldn't compare to those established brands. In the end, she managed to produce this season's new products the day before the launch. At that moment, Gong Shangzi was obviously nervous in the corner of the stage. Ningxi had spent a lot of effort to get Qin Xingyue to be a model. If his work didn't achieve the desired effect, not only would the studio's reputation be damaged, but Qin Xingyue's reputation would also be affected. Ningxi's efforts would all be in vain. Ningxi patted him on the shoulder and encouraged him. Honey, don't be nervous. Have some confidence in yourself, okay? Your work is really good. Even Qin Xingyue praised you. Han Momo chimed in. Gold will definitely shine. Gong Shangzi looked at them gratefully. Thank you. With a burst of traditional Peking opera music, the opening ceremony officially began. The background of the stage was made into an antique vermilion gate with green copper rings. When the gate was opened, the majestic palace walls were revealed. Models in luxurious palace dresses and cheongsams walked out from behind the scenes. The logo of history was displayed on the big screen. There was an uproar when the audience saw the logo. The clothing brand for this opening ceremony is from history. It's only been a year since the brand was established, right? It's unbelievable. That's why I said that the designer is the soul of a brand. Dai Wei is indeed a once-in-a-century genius. His work is so smart. But I heard that a dark horse appeared at the Golden Top Awards and defeated Dai Wei. That anonymous designer at the Golden Summit Awards is indeed very talented, but his style is too similar to history's. The chance of him winning the award is also very high. Who can guarantee that he will always beat Dai Wei? I think the final result is either being squeezed out of the market or being acquired by history. Didn't you see that he has disappeared recently? At the end of the show, the international model Angie appeared in the finale of history. Thunderous applause erupted from below the stage after it ended. Everyone congratulated Ning Xuelua and Dai Wei. This costume show is amazing. No wonder the organizers chose history as the opening. Thank you everyone. At this moment, Ning Xuelua was wearing a neat little suit. She had transformed from a glamorous superstar to the elite image of a company's CEO. She responded to everyone's compliments gracefully. Ning Xuelua had been very happy lately. Under the Heavens, which had just been released not long ago, set a record of 1.5 billion yuan at the box office on the first day of its release. It was second only to the Hollywood blockbuster that was released at the same time, and the comedy genius Fong's Happy Things, becoming the biggest dark horse of the current period. After that, the box office sales rose day by day due to the high reputation and the netizens' recommendations. After a week, the box office sales ended perfectly with 12.3 billion yuan. All of a sudden, Ning Xueluo, the female lead, became extremely popular. She even became the most popular candidate for the next Best Actress award. It could be said that it was a double harvest in the entertainment and fashion circles. Chapter 793. This Ning Xueluo is indeed capable. Other celebrities in the entertainment industry can only do small things with their own brands. They might even suffer losses, but she's doing well. Of course not. She's a real rich girl, and she has a CEO boyfriend who has been supporting her silently. It's impossible for her not to succeed, right? Oh yeah, I wonder which brand Qin Shengyue will be wearing this time? It's not history? Doesn't she always like to promote newcomers? What's so strange about that? It must be some international brand. Ning Xueluo frowned as she listened to the discussions around her. It's a pity that we didn't manage to invite Qin Shengyue. Originally, it could have been more perfect this time, but something unexpected happened. For some reason, Qin Shengyue had refused to walk the runway for them. Dai Wei chimed in. Angie's great too. She's an international supermodel now, and her influence isn't any lower than Qin Shengyue's. Ning Xueluo glanced at him, but didn't say anything. Although Qin Shengyue had retired, she was the first Chinese person to walk on the international stage. She was the darling of many international brands, and her status in the fashion industry was like a wind vane. She had also opened a clothing company, so how could a newborn calf like Angie compare to her? However, they knew that it would be difficult to invite Qin Shengyue, so this result was within their expectations. On the stage, the other brands continued to walk the runway. After a few well-known brands, the screen turned and a line of words appeared, Zailing ZX. Ah, Zailing. Isn't that the brand of the designer who won the Golden Apex Award? I thought it was just a flash in the pan, and they wouldn't be participating in this fashion show. After all, if they're not careful, they'll lose to history. If they fail this time, they'll lose the Golden Apex Award. TSK, they're brave enough to come. Everyone was paying attention to the designer who had broken the record for the highest score at the Golden Apex Award. Therefore, they couldn't help but stare at her. The higher the expectations, the harsher it would be. Zailing was indeed in a difficult situation this time. The models walked onto the runway one after another. When the first set of clothes appeared, the audience suddenly quieted down. Moments later, they were filled with exclamations. The two themes Zailing showed this time were peach blossoms in a mountain temple and stars in midsummer, which were as beautiful as a dream. Unlike the Nirvana Rebirth theme of the Golden Apex Awards, these two sets of clothes were like Cupid's arrows that made the hearts of young girls palpitate. Below the stage, Ning Xueluo's reaction was calm. Dai Wei was also calm. Although there was a hint of jealousy in his eyes, he clearly did not see them as competitors anymore. So what if the design was good? In this industry, design wasn't the only thing that mattered. They had even won the Golden Apex Award last time, but what could they do? Old customers would still only believe in their brand, and would not easily believe in a short-lived brand that could fall off the altar in the next second to lower their value. After all, they were targeting high-end customers. To them, clothing was no different from their face, so they had to be very careful. What they needed to do now was to wait until Zailing ran into a wall, and had nowhere else to go. Then they could buy it at a low price, or even directly wipe out the brand and poach the designer for their own use. However, in the next second, Ning Xueluo and Dai Wei, who were initially confident, widened their eyes. Chapter 794. Apart from that, all the industry guests and celebrities were also shocked. No one expected that the model wearing Zailing's Midsummer Starry Nights finale would be Qin Shengyue. The dark blue background was inlaid with sparkling diamonds, and the V-neck design was like the Milky Way. The entire outfit was like the vast starry night in the middle of the night, dreamy and fantastical. This was crazy. What was going on? Why was Qin Xingyue the finale model for Zhe Ling? Didn't she praise Dai Wei many times in public? Now she was wearing the outfit of designer ZX, who had defeated Dai Wei last time, on such an important occasion. Was this a public declaration that she thought the mysterious designer was better than Dai Wei? All the guests, designers, and even the reporters couldn't wait to find out. Finally, the morning show ended. Below the stage, the reporters were already looking forward to it. After waiting for a long time, Qin Xingyue finally appeared backstage and changed into a new outfit. What she was wearing was a fiery red classic Chinese embroidered dress. The wide skirt had been burnt to the knee by the flames, revealing a pair of smooth, slender, and incomparably beautiful legs. Anyone with a discerning eye could immediately recognize that this was a set from the Golden Summit Award winner, ZX's work, Nirvana. Miss Qin, is this Zhe Ling outfit you're wearing? Yes. Miss Qin, may I ask why you love Zhe Ling so much? Qin Xingyue caressed the hem of her dress and asked matter-of-factly, is there a need to ask? In that second, Qin Xingyue's temperament and aura blended perfectly with the outfit. It was stunning. Qin Xingyue's personality, temperament, and figure were all perfect for this outfit. Yes, there's no need. Zhe Ling is too beautiful and lively. It's worthy of its name. Then, Miss Qin, what do you think of history? How do you compare Zhe Ling to history? You seem to admire history. Why did you suddenly change your mind to Zhe Ling? Is there any inside story behind this? The reporter asked meaningfully. Everyone's eyes were focused on Qin Xingyue at that moment, including Ning Shi, who was below the stage. She was so afraid that Miss Qin would suddenly say something like, "Nothing, I'm happy." Fortunately, Qin Xingyue was quite reliable at critical moments. She replied calmly, "Dai Wei is the most talented designer I've ever seen. I've always admired him, but his designs seem to exist in a perfect world where time has stopped. They're beautiful, but they're unchanging. On the other hand, Zhe Ling has allowed me to see growth and transformation, as well as limitless possibilities in the future." Qin Xingyue had a very high status in the industry, and her evaluation was very authoritative. This sentence was a direct affirmation of Zhe Ling's ability, and it pushed Zhe Ling, whose status was still uncertain, into the fashion circle. It was like a plaque bestowed by the emperor. Not far away, Ning Xuelua was about to lose control of her emotions as she watched the situation unfold. How did this happen? If it were some other big shot, then so be it. How could it be Zhe Ling? Qin Xingyue rejected our clothes last time. Is there something wrong with your design? Chapter 795. Dai Wei hurriedly denied. That's impossible. That set of clothes was the finale of our Milan Fashion Week exhibition. Ning Xuelua could not hold it in anymore. She said sternly, "No wonder Qin Xingyue said that you're still the same. Don't you have any other designs?" "But I only chose that one to be safe." Although Dai Wei said that, he was actually starting to panic. If it could be said that it was a coincidence last time, then this time, after seeing Zhe Ling's other designs, his already guilty conscience and fear deepened. After all, everything he had now was stolen. No matter how much glory and praise he had during the day, he would be afraid that it would all disappear at night. Most importantly, he was running out of design drafts. Although he had secretly recruited a large group of people to imitate Gong Shang's style, no matter how perfect the imitation was, it was still not the original. No, he had to find out who exactly this ZX was. The more he looked at that person's work, the more afraid he became. He even had the illusion that it was Gong Shang's design. However, how was that possible? Gong Shangze would never be able to make a comeback. Moreover, his design could not reach such a high level and realm. At night, after the event ended, Dai Wei was in a bad mood. He left Ning Xuelua alone. Just as he was about to get into the car, he inadvertently glanced at the opposite side of the road, and saw the face that appeared in his nightmares every night. Gong Shangze. Dai Wei was scared out of his wits. Just as he was about to investigate, that person had already gotten into the car and quickly disappeared from his sight. Dai Wei only calmed down after the car left. He must have been too nervous. That person's hairstyle was so fashionable. How could it be that slovenly madman Gong Shangze? In the car that had just left, Ningxi glanced at the rearview mirror. That person was Dai Wei, right? Did he recognize you? Gong Shangza obviously saw it too. He smiled bitterly when he heard that. I don't think so. After all, I can't even recognize myself with my current appearance. Ningxi nodded. That's true. Han Momo looked curious. What did Director Gong look like before? It's best if you don't know about it. You'll be disillusioned. While he was talking to the two of them, his phone suddenly rang. It was an unknown number. Ningxi answered suspiciously, "Hello, Miss." As soon as the call was connected, an extremely excited voice came from the other end of the phone. Ningxi hesitated. Are you Nanny Wu? Only the old servant of Grandpa would call her like this. Yes, it's me. Miss, come to the hospital quickly. Old master is in the hospital. Mother Wu sounded extremely sad. What did you say? With a shrill squeak, Ningxi stopped the car by the roadside and asked with a pale face, "What happened to Grandpa?" Master suddenly fainted at home, and the doctor said that he might not make it this time. I saw that first young master and second young master didn't inform you, so they made the call on their own. The person that master wants to see the most must be you. Mother Wu's tone actually implied that she wanted to see him for the last time. How could this be? Which hospital? I'll be right there. Chapter 796. Sorry, my grandpa is sick. I have to go to the hospital immediately. I may not be able to send you. It's okay. Sister Shi, go ahead. Grandpa is important. We can just take a taxi ourselves. Okay, be careful on the way. Boss, don't be in such a hurry. Drive slowly. Okay, I got it. After saying goodbye to Gong Shangza and Han Momo, Ningxi immediately rushed to the hospital address that Mother Wu told her. At the same time, she called Mother Wu to ask about the situation. Mother Wu, what's going on? I called Grandpa a few days ago. Isn't he in good health? Mother Wu heaved a long sigh on the other end of the phone. Alas, the old master was comforting you. You know the situation at home. The eldest young master is only thinking about his adopted daughter. The second young master's two illegitimate daughters are making trouble all day long. The old master has been waiting for so many years, but he hasn't seen a great-grandson to inherit his bloodline. As he gets older, his heart is inevitably getting heavier. Actually, the one that old master is most worried about is you. Miss Xian still has her mother to protect her, but what about you, miss? What he was afraid of was that after he left, she would be alone with no one to rely on. He has always wanted to matchmake you with the young master of the Shi family. He also wanted you to have someone to rely on in the future. Ningxi listened to these words quietly. She couldn't tell what she was feeling. When Ningxi arrived, Ning Yaohua, Zhuanglingyu, Ning Xuelua, Ning Yaobang, Ning Tianxin, and Su Yan were already there. Ning Yaohua and Zhuanglingyu looked solemn. Ning Xuelua's eyes were swollen from crying, and she was leaning weakly in Su Yan's arms. Ning Yaobang's face didn't show any sadness at all. He stared at Ning Yaohua and said disdainfully, "Stop pretending. All of you can't wait for the old master to die. Once the old master dies, the Ning family will be yours." Shut up. Is this what a human should say? Dad is already like this, and you're still talking about this. Ning Yaohua scolded angrily. What's wrong with me? Didn't I tell you what's in your heart? Are you angry now? Do you dare to say that's not what you think? While the two sides were quarreling, a rush of footsteps came from the end of the corridor. Then they saw Ningxi rushing over. Yo, another one to fight for the family property. Ning Yaobang snorted coldly. Ning Xuelua's eyes flashed with a hint of vigilance when she saw Ningxi. Now the biggest obstacle for her to get the Ning family was the stubborn old man. As long as the old man was gone, Ning Yaohua would be in power. Without the old man's preference for Ningxi, Ning Yaohua and Zhuanglingyu would definitely stand on her side. Then the Ning family would be in her hands. As for the second branch, Ning Yaobang, that useless fool, and Ning Tianxin, who had a weak temperament, were nothing to be afraid of. The old master would never hand over the company to these kinds of people. Ning Ningyu, Ning Ningyun's wife. To Ning. Ning. Ning Ning. Tu xian tu n tu. The ning and ning it to yin I to say ning I ning I yin I su. Given the old master's character, he would probably give her a part of the shares to make sure she didn't have to worry about food and clothing. Although she didn't want to let her take these shares for free, it was not bad to let her take charge of the company as a small shareholder. Chapter 797. What are you doing here? Ning Yahua pulled a long face as soon as he saw Ning Shi. Obviously, he was afraid that she would ruin things at this critical moment. Sister, you're here. Come and see Grandpa. You don't come home often. Grandpa misses you so much. You must be the one he wants to see most. Ning Xuelua said while crying. What she said, she meant that she didn't see Ning Xuelua often and came here when he was dying. What are you looking at? Why are you pretending to be filial at this time? Zhuang Lingyu said grumpily. Ning Shi was focused on Grandpa Ning and didn't want to talk to these people. She lay on the transparent glass of the ICU ward and quietly looked at the old man in the ward. She knew that Auntie Wu was right. Grandpa was worried about her the most. Ning Tianxin walked over and patted her on the shoulder to comfort her. Her face was full of guilt. How is Grandpa? Ning Shi asked. Ning Tianxin looked sad. He's stabilized for now, but the doctor said, Grandpa's health is not good. I'm afraid he won't survive this winter. Cici, don't be too sad. At his age, this day will come. Su Yan comforted her and handed her a tissue. Su Yan's words made Ning Shi feel uncomfortable. Grandpa was not dead yet, but he said it as if Grandpa was going to die this time. At this time in the ward, Grandpa Ning suddenly opened his eyes slowly. Looking at Ning Shi outside the window, he struggled to speak. The nurse took off the respirator, leaned close to Grandpa Ning and listened for a while. Then she opened the door and came out, asking. The patient said he wants to see a miss named Cici. Who is her? For a moment, everyone looked at Ning Shi with complicated gazes. I am. Ning Shi said hurriedly. Come in with me. But the patient is still very weak. Don't talk to him for too long. The nurse said. Okay, I see. Thank you. Seeing Ning Shi go in, Ning Xuelua was full of jealousy. She tried so hard to please this old man, but he didn't care about her at all. Of course, the expression on her face was one of sadness and disappointment. Su Yan comforted her. Cici is not at home all year round. Grandpa will inevitably miss her. Ning Xuelua nodded forcefully. I understand. Ning Yahua had no time to care about Ning Xuelua at this moment. He was thinking about what the old man would tell Ning Shi. Unfortunately, the soundproofing effect of the ward was so good that no one outside could hear anything. In the ward, Ning Shi hurriedly held Grandpa Ning's hand. Grandpa! Grandpa Sheng trembled as he looked at her. You're here. Looking at the old man's weak and haggard face, Ning Shi's heart twitched. Grandpa, I'm sorry. Silly child, why are you apologizing out of nowhere? Grandpa Ji stroked her hair and took a few deep breaths. Fearing that he might be exhausted, he said directly to her, Cici, I've always hoped to wait until the day you take over the company. In this way, I can help you clear the obstacles and stabilize your position while I'm still here, but now, I'm afraid I don't have time. I know you have your own career and your own life now. You're angry and don't want to come back. Fine. I won't force you. Grandfather left you 10% of the shares in his will. That's enough for you to live the rest of your life without any worries. I didn't dare to give you too much, because an ordinary man is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring becomes a crime. It'll bring you trouble. Chapter 798. Grandpa, don't say any more. You will be fine. Alas, you don't have to comfort me. I know my health condition. I wanted to wait for a few more years, at least until you get married. Cough, cough, cough. Grandpa, don't talk. Have a rest. Ning Shi said hurriedly. If there was a glimmer of hope, they could wait. But Grandpa obviously knew that there was no hope at all even if they waited any longer. He didn't dare to trust Hongli's family, and Hongli's attitude was so firm that it was impossible for her to return to the Ning family and enter the company. Because of the nature of her work, it was impossible for her to get married and have children. Humans only had one breath left in them. Once this breath was gone, It was inevitable that the body would quickly collapse. Walking out of the ward, Ningxi looked very serious. What did your grandpa say to you? Ning Yaohua asked immediately when he saw her coming out. Nothing much, Ningxi said casually, then walked past everyone and left. Ning Yaohua stomped his feet in anger behind her. What an attitude! Seeing that the property and the company would fall into the hands of Hongli's family, Ning Yaobang became anxious and pulled Ning Tianxin aside in a low voice. Tianxin, look at Ningxi. She only comes back a few times a year, but Grandpa still misses her so much. You are Grandpa's granddaughter. Can't you help me? If you don't fight for it, you won't get anything in the end. Ning Tianxin gave him a cold look. I wish you won't get anything. I'd like to see if those women will still love you when you have nothing. You. No matter what Uncle has done, he has never had a woman outside these years. But what about you? Are you still a man? You know nothing. Do you know what Zhuangling Yu's real identity is? He wants to, but he doesn't dare. He won't dare even if I lend him 100 times the courage. In the Ning family's villa. After returning home, Ning Yaohua said seriously, Ling Yu, I have something to discuss with you. What is it? About that girl? Zhuangling Yu frowned. Ning Yaohua nodded and said hesitantly, how about, we persuade Xiaoxi to come back? In the will of the old man, he will definitely give her a portion of the shares. If she is roped in by someone else, it will inevitably affect me. Moreover, Xue Luo is after all not my biological daughter. In the future, I still need to leave a trace of bloodline. When Zhuangling Yu heard this, her expression immediately changed. What do you mean? Xue Luo wholeheartedly treats us as her biological parents. Are you doing her justice by saying these words? Was bloodline really that important? Let me tell you, bloodline has no meaning to me. In my heart, only Xue Luo is my only daughter. Have you forgotten all the shameful things that girl has done? If you want to humiliate yourself, don't drag me down with you. If she causes any trouble in the future, it has nothing to do with me. Ning Yaohua comforted her helplessly. All right, I just mentioned it casually because I had no other choice. Why are you so agitated? Besides, I only asked her to come back as an adopted daughter. I didn't say anything about revealing her identity. Don't have any ideas about the shares that the old man gave her. I don't care about her things. You can directly buy them from her. That money is enough for her to use for the rest of her life. Although I didn't raise her, at least I gave birth to her. I don't owe her anything. I've already been very kind to her. Chapter 799. Zhuangling Yu said as she looked at Ning Yaohua coldly. If you care so much about your bloodline, you can be like uncle and find a young girl to give birth to. Ning Yaohua panicked when he heard that. He quickly comforted her. Hey, what nonsense are you talking about? Why would I do such a thing? Don't you know how I feel about you? While they were talking in low voices, Ning Xuelua came out of the kitchen with a bowl of soup. Dadma, I was afraid that you would be anxious, so I made some white fungus and lotus seed soup. Drink it before you sleep. You'll feel better. Grandpa is in the hospital now. You must take care of yourself. Zhuangling Yu quickly took the soup, her face full of love. Hey, good girl. You're the one who's tired today. You were busy with Fashion Week during the day, and you were called to the hospital right after. You haven't had a moment to rest. Go to bed early. Leave these things to the servants. Mom, it's okay. I'm not tired. Zhuangling Yu looked at the perfect daughter that she had raised and sighed. Xuelua, the old man probably won't make it this time. When the time comes, you'll definitely have to enter the company. I'm afraid you'll be even busier and more tired. She then gave Ning Yaohua a warning look, signaling him to get rid of those thoughts that he shouldn't have. Ning Yaohua could only keep quiet. After all, his position was not stable, and he still had to rely on Zhuangling Yu and the Su family. Ning Xuelua hid the joy in her eyes and said hurriedly, Mom, I'm young now. It's time for me to work hard. This little bit of hardship and tiredness is nothing to me. Besides, I'll be happy as long as I can help Mom and Dad. Zhuangling Yu patted her hand and comforted her. Mom knows you're the best. Don't worry. You'll always be Mom's daughter. You deserve all this. As long as I'm here, No one can look down on you. Ning Yahua coughed lightly. Dad is the same. Ning Xuelua looked down and sobbed. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Ever since I found out who I was, I've been living in fear. I feel like my world is about to collapse. I really don't know what I did wrong. Overnight, my home isn't my home anymore. My beloved parents aren't my parents anymore. Zhuang Lingyu felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife. How could that be? Dad is still your dad, and Mom is still your mom. Nothing will change. Ning Yahua was also moved. You were raised by Mom and Dad. Even if you're not our biological daughter, it doesn't matter. In our hearts, you're already our biological daughter. There are so many unfilial sons out there. They are your own children, but none of them can compare to you. You are Mom and Dad's pride. You are our Ning family's lucky star. Have you forgotten? You're not allowed to have those messy ideas in the future. Late at night, at the Platinum Palace, Ningxi was going to go back to her apartment, but she didn't expect to drive here unknowingly. It's so late, I wonder if Lu Tingxiao is asleep. Ningxi was hesitating outside the door when the door suddenly opened on its own. Lu Tingxiao was standing at the door in his pajamas. Ning! Before he could finish his sentence, Ningxi had already thrown herself into his arms. What happened? Lu Tingxiao frowned and asked immediately. Ningxi finally let go of her suppressed weakness the moment she saw him. Her voice was hoarse as she said, "Grandpa is sick. It's very serious. The doctor said he might not make it this time." Chapter 800. Don't worry. Come in. Lu Tingxiao hurriedly brought her in, helped her sit down on the sofa and poured her a glass of warm milk. Holding the glass of milk, Ningxi stared blankly for quite a while before she finally made up her mind and said, "My grandpa is most worried about me. Lu Tingxiao, I want to find, or rent a man to pretend to be my boyfriend and bring him to meet my grandpa to reassure him." "Why don't you bring me?" Lu Tingxiao asked. Bring you?" Ningxi was stunned. Lu Tingxiao's face darkened. She had never thought of him. Ningxi hurriedly said, "Ahem, I mean if I bring you there. I don't think it will reassure Grandpa. Instead, it will frighten him. He won't believe you if you bring someone else there. You can only bring me there." Lu Tingxiao said firmly. "Well, is that so? If you don't bring me, who do you want to bring?" Lu Tingxiao looked at her and asked. Ningxi glanced at him timidly. "Do you want to tell me the truth?" "Yes." Ningxi scratched her head. "Actually, I was going to ask Shi Shiqing for help. He's a suitable man and Grandpa likes him, so in conclusion..." Before she finished, Ningxi sensed danger and hurriedly took Lu Tingxiao's arm. "Hey, I think Grandpa will like you more. Let's go. I'll take you there tomorrow." Lu Tingxiao glanced at her. He knew she was worried. Given his identity, Grandpa Ji would find it hard to believe that he was sincere. He might even refuse to accept him. "I'll take care of your worries." Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl and promised. "It's a pity that I can take my boyfriend there immediately, but I can't satisfy his wish of having a great-grandson." Ningxi muttered with a sad face. "Even if I start now, it's too late." As Ningxi spoke, she suddenly thought of something and got up excitedly. "Lu Tingxiao, can I borrow Xiaobao for a while?" "No need." "Ha. What do you mean? You don't want to lend it to me? There's no need to borrow it. It's yours to begin with." Ningxi was moved to tears. "I don't know if I did the right thing, but I know if I don't do anything, I will regret it." She couldn't let her grandfather leave with regrets and uneasiness. Thus the next morning, Ningxi took Lu Tingxiao and Little Bun to the hospital. Lu Tingxiao should have already made the necessary arrangements. The ward was quiet, and there was no one around. A doctor personally led them up the stairs. "Doctor, how is my grandfather's condition? Are you feeling better today?" Ningxi asked anxiously. The doctor shook his head with a grave expression. "It's terrible. He's been feeling groggy. If the situation continues to worsen, I'm afraid he'll die in 2 days." "What?" Ningxi's expression suddenly changed. Originally, he was still hesitating whether he should use Xiaobao to deceive his grandfather, but at this moment, he could no longer care so much. Ningxi took a deep breath and opened the door of the ward. "Grandpa, I'm here to see you. On the sickbed, Grandpa looked even worse than yesterday. After hearing Ningxi's voice, he only raised his eyes slightly. Zizi. Chapter 801. Grandpa, it's me. Ningxi stepped forward. I'm sorry, Grandpa. Actually, I have something to hide from you. I've met someone I like, and we're already together. But because of my work, I can't make it public, so I haven't told anyone. Today, I specially brought him here for you to see. The old man was too weak to open his eyes. After a long while, he slowly asked, How much did you spend? How much did you spend to rent him? Grandpa, I didn't rent him. He's really my boyfriend. Ningxi was speechless. No wonder Grandpa wouldn't believe Lu Tingxiao when he said he brought someone else. The old man sighed. I know you want to reassure Grandpa, but you don't have to. Grandpa, I really didn't rent him. If you don't believe me, I'll prove it to you. Ningxi said as she pulled Lu Tingxiao's neck down and kissed him on the lips. The old man saw what she had done in a daze and glared at her anxiously. You girl. How could you let him take advantage of you? That's ridiculous, cough cough. Ningxi. Well, she still couldn't believe that this was really her boyfriend. Grandpa, I haven't introduced myself. My surname is Lu, and my name is Lu Tingxiao. I'm working at Lu Enterprises and I'm indeed dating Xiaoxi. Lu Tingxiao said. The old man was stunned and tried to open his eyes to look at the man in front of him. Wait, who did you say you were? Lu what? Lu Tingxiao. Grandpa, how much money do I need to have to rent Lu Tingxiao? Ningxi said helplessly. He's Lu Tingxiao? Lu Tingxiao fished out an ID card and handed it to the old man. Therefore, Grandpa Sheng's expression changed from suspicion to shock. Oh, Grandpa, there's something I'm hiding from you. Ningxi said as she pulled out Xiaobao, who had been obediently standing behind Lu Tingxiao. Here, this is your great-grandson. Grandpa Luo was a little sleepy and his brain was not very clear. When he suddenly saw Ningxi pull out a white and soft little bun from behind, and heard the words great-grandson, he suddenly widened his eyes. What did you say? Seeing that the old man almost jumped up from the bed, Ningxi was startled and quickly went over to support him. Grandpa, don't be agitated. Be careful of your health. How could I not be excited? You. Help me take this thing off. Hurry. The old man was so anxious that he pulled on the respirator on his face. Ningxi had no choice but to temporarily take it away for him. The old man immediately stretched out his trembling hand and stared at Xiao Bao without blinking, as if he was afraid that he would disappear. Come to great-grandpa. Xiao Bao turned to look at Ningxi. Then, under Ningxi's encouraging gaze, he obediently walked to the old man's side and reached out his little hand to hold the old man's hand. The moment the little hand held his palm, the old man's turbid tears instantly fell, and his body trembled uncontrollably. Is this really my good grandson? Ningxi's eyes were also red, but she didn't know how to answer. Lu Tingxiao said, Yes, Xiaobao is my and Xiaoxi's child. Hearing this, Xiaobao nodded hard. He was Papa and Mama's child. Chapter 802. Grandpa Ning held the little boy's hand carefully. Yes, this is the flesh and blood of the Ning family. I can feel it. After seeing Xiaobao, Grandpa Ning focused all his attention on the little boy. He took the little boy's hand and looked at him over and over again. So much like Xiaoxi. Look at the eyes, the nose. Grandpa Ning kept saying that Xiaobao looked like Ningxi here and there. Ningxi could only reply, but in her heart, she was thinking, isn't Xiaobao carved from the same mold as Lu Tingxiao? Why does he look like her? Xiaoxi, take the child out first. I have something to say to him alone. Grandpa Ning looked at Lu Tingxiao and said seriously, Grandpa, do you want to take a rest? Don't be too tired. Ningxi was worried. It's okay. Grandpa is not tired. Are you afraid that Grandpa will eat him up? Ningxi, take Xiaobao out first. Lu Tingxiao also said. Ningxi looked at Lu Tingxiao helplessly and could only take Xiaobao out to wait. In the ward, Grandpa Ning stared at the man in front of him inquisitively. What's going on between you and Xiaoxi? When we found out that Xiaoxi was pregnant, We were going to get married, but we separated because of some misunderstanding. We didn't meet again until 5 years later. Ningxi waited for half an hour before Lu Tingxiao finally came out. How is it? Ningxi hurried to ask. Grandpa wants you to take Xiaobao in and have a look at him. Oh. Ningxi hurriedly led Xiaobao in. She was just about to speak to Grandpa Ning when he passed her and looked at Xiaobao, saying in a very gentle tone, Xiaobao, how old are you this year? Xiaobao wrote 5 on the writing board. Have you gone to school? Kindergarten. Do your father and mother get along well? Yes. Ningxi was worried that there would be problems with Xiaobao and Grandpa's communication. To her surprise, they got along so well that she became redundant. The old man, who had been on the verge of death just a moment ago, now looked as if he had been reborn. She didn't know what Lu Tingxiao said to Grandpa Sheng, and how he explained it to him. After chatting with Xiaobao for a long time, Grandpa Sheng said to her earnestly, Cici, you should be with Tingxiao. It's not easy to meet someone who treats you sincerely. Grandpa, I will. Grandpa knows that you are very ambitious, but you can't neglect the people around you, understand? Oh, got it. After leaving the hospital, Ningxi was confused. Hey, Lu Tingxiao, what did you say to Grandpa? Why did Grandpa suddenly favor you so much? You're practically speaking up for me. Logically speaking, you made me pregnant, so shouldn't he be very unhappy with you? You want to know? Lu Tingxiao looked at her meaningfully. Ningxi nodded. Yes. Lu Tingxiao. A father's status depends on his sons. Ningxi. A father's status depends on his sons. This description is amazing. I told Grandpa that we can't get married because of your current job. As long as you ask, we can get our marriage certificate anytime. That was so mean. If that was the case, wouldn't it all become her fault? Although what Lu Tingxiao said seemed to be the truth. That's it. What else? What else did you say? Ningxi didn't think it was that simple. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her and then said unhurriedly, I told Grandpa that we plan to have 3 to 5 more children in the future. Ningxi almost choked on her own saliva. 3 to 5? That's too much. She never thought that this guy would be so good at pleasing the old man. Chapter 803. After leaving the hospital, they sent Xiaobao back to school. On the way back, Ningxi couldn't help but ask Lu Tingxiao, who was driving, Then, how did you explain to Grandpa about us? Lu Tingxiao had said last night that he would handle it, so she didn't ask further. She was really curious now. Lu Tingxiao looked out the window at the rising sun after the snow. As he drove, he said quietly, I said, we met by chance, fell in love at first sight, and fell in love again. Because we couldn't help ourselves, we tasted the forbidden fruit and had Xiaobao. Young love is like the wind. It always comes and goes quickly. Because of some small misunderstanding, you left me and Xiaobao far away. 5 years later, we met again and found that we still couldn't forget each other. Although the road ahead was unpredictable, we still chose to be together and face it together. This was the first time she heard so many words from Lu Tingxiao at once, and they were all so unbelievable. It didn't seem like something he would say at all. Ningxi's jaw almost dropped as she listened. Damn. Lu Tingxiao, you're so good at making things up. You could even be a scriptwriter. And a scriptwriter for a romantic idol drama. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her from the rearview mirror and said slowly, I'm not making things up. This is what I'm thinking. If only we could have met earlier. In that instant, Ningxi felt as if her heart had been hit hard. Lu Tingxiao's words reverberated in her mind. If only we could have met earlier. This was also what she had said to herself many times in her dreams. If only she could have met this man in front of her earlier. The next second, the light turned red. Ningxi leaned over and quickly covered Lu Tingxiao's lips. The girl's sweet scent invaded all his senses. Lu Tingxiao was startled at first, but then he turned his head and took the initiative. The light turned green. Lu Tingxiao only came back to his senses when he heard urging from behind. He panted slightly and said, I'm driving. Don't mess around. Ningxi puffed up her cheeks. I'm not messing around. I just wanted to kiss you. You're the one who messed around. Lu Tingxiao. The next day was Saturday. When Ningxi took Xiaobao to see Grandpa Ning, Grandpa Ning could already get out of bed and play with Xiaobao for the whole morning. In the first few days, Ningxi was still anxious, fearing that Grandpa Ning was having a sudden recovery. It wasn't until Grandpa Ning got better day by day that she finally calmed down. Grandpa, it's almost time to visit the patients. Xiaobao said goodbye to Great-Grandpa. Every time she came, she would avoid meeting Ning Xuelua and the others. Xiaobao's head contentedly. Xiaobao. Grandpa touched Xiaobao's head contentedly. Cici Xiaobao. If those people found out about the relationship between Cici and Lu Tingxiao, they would definitely make trouble. At least, she had to wait until they got married. Otherwise, if the news that Cici was pregnant before marriage was spread out, it would definitely have a bad influence on her. Now that he had a grandson, he was satisfied. Knowing that the Ning family still had a sliver of their bloodline, he could die in peace. However, for the sake of Xiaoxi and the little baby, he had to live well, support them, and wait for his great-grandson, number 2345, to be born. Chapter 804. After the Fashion Week, Zailing had proven its strength at the Golden Top Award. Because of Qin Xingyue's influence and fame, they finally had a breakthrough in the market. In the past few days, there had been people contacting them through various channels to express their intention to cooperate. However, these people were all good and bad. If they weren't professionals in the industry and couldn't accurately identify them, then it was very likely that all the previous efforts would be ruined in a single cooperation. All of a sudden, Ningxi's workload suddenly increased. Gong Shangze and Han Momo had to rush the ready-made clothing samples, while she had to collect information on the collaborators one by one. Just when she was overwhelmed with work, Qin Xingyue's trump card finally arrived. Hearing the doorbell ring, Han Momo immediately craned her neck and asked, "Is it our marketing director? I'll go open the door." A moment later, Han Momo came in with a woman. She was wearing a clean champagne-colored suit, and her hair was tied up in a bun at the back of her head. There was no extra expression on her face, and she had the fierce aura of a city skeleton spirit. She was indeed the aura of a trump card. "Qiao Weilan, Boss Qin asked me to report in," Qiao Weilan said simply in a businesslike tone. "Hello, I'm Ningxi, the person in charge of Zailing Director Qiao, please sit." Ningxi politely led her to the office. "I had some work to hand over, so I was delayed for a few days," Qiao Weilan explained. "It's okay, it's my duty." Ningxi expressed her understanding. After a few casual greetings, Ningxi directly brought up the most important point. "I don't know if Boss Qin has told you about my situation. We are a new small studio, and the commission is definitely not as high as when you were with Boss Qin. Although you were transferred to me by Boss Qin, you can't force it. If you don't want to stay with me, I can help you talk to Boss Qin." "No need, I have no objection to Boss Qin's arrangement," Qiao Weilan said expressionlessly. Ningxi looked at Qiao Weilan's expression. Although she wasn't too enthusiastic, she didn't show any special rejection. She was completely obedient. The situation was much better than she had expected. She was transferred here midway, and they didn't expect her to integrate so quickly. Ningxi continued, "The situation of our studio is very simple. I believe I don't need to explain more. First, let me introduce two colleagues to you. This is our design director, Gong Shangze, and this is his assistant, Han Momo." They got to know each other. Qiao Weilan's gaze only stayed on Gong Shangze for a while, and then she returned to her robotic state. After the introduction, Ningxi showed her around the studio and the office. "At present, our business is mainly divided into advanced customization and ready-to-wear specialty stores. Our core positioning is only for the high-end market, so our customer base must be strictly screened." After hearing this, Qiao Weilan said directly, "I will select a suitable partner from the existing customer base resources within 3 days. After you have a look, I will negotiate with the other party and discuss the further cooperation plan." All right. Although the other party's attitude was a little cold, fortunately, his professional skills were superb. He immediately solved Ningxi's urgent problem. As for the future, whether she would continue to complete the task step by step or be able to integrate wholeheartedly, it would depend on fate. The most important thing was that this beauty was not her type. Very good. Her chastity was preserved. Chapter 805. Then I'll leave this place to you. I have a job to attend later. Contact me if you need anything. Okay, Sister Shi. Go ahead. Remember to take more photos of Jiang Mai. It would be best if they are photos of you two together. This time, Ningxi was going to be on a talk show with high ratings. Because of the recent popularity of the world, the crew invited the main cast members to talk about their creative process. Tonight, Ning Xuelua and Zhao Xizhou were the protagonists. All the topics and interactions were about them. Ning Shi, Guan Xiaoqi and other supporting actresses were just there to make them look better. Jiang Mai was special. Even if he was just a cameo, people would want him to be on the show, not to mention that he was playing the second male lead. While the host was chatting with Ning Xuelua, Ning Shi sat quietly on the side. She didn't interrupt or rush to steal the spotlight. However, because she and Jiang Mai were playing a couple in the show, the host often talked about her. Ningxi, this time, you and Jiang Mai have won a lot of tears from the audience. You're also very popular. Everyone thinks you're a good match in the film. You've even been selected as one of the top 10 screen couples of this year. And this time, the most popular male character in the film is military Dr. Sun Huanqing. Are you happy? Oh, is that so? Ningxi looked a little surprised. Yes. Look, this is the online vote. Sun Huanqing is leading all the way. Even the male lead, Xizhou, can't compare. As the host said, a picture of the online vote appeared on the big screen. Jiang Mai was far ahead of the others. For a moment, everyone was waiting for Ningxi's reply. After all, it was not easy to answer the host's question. She might offend someone. Jiang Mai had such a high number of votes. In addition to the popularity of Sun Huanqing, the biggest reason was that Jiang Mai's fans were strong. However, if she said that she was happy, proud, or that the miracle-working doctor was awesome, it would be a slap in the face to Zhao Xizhou and Ning Xuelua and offend their fans. Ningxi looked down and then smiled. It seems that the saying is true. What saying? The host asked curiously. Ningxi glanced at Zhao Xizhou and Jiang Mai. The male lead belongs to the female lead, and the supporting role belongs to everyone. As soon as Ningxi's voice fell, not only did the host laugh, but the fans of Ning Xuelua, Zhao Xizhou, and Jiang Mai also burst into cheers. Ningxi's reply was clever. She didn't offend anyone. At this moment, backstage, the director of the program group looked at the camera and found that several cameramen had taken close-up shots of Ningxi's face. Ningxi's skin was really in good condition. Her face was flawless and perfect for the camera. Even if she didn't speak and just quietly looked at others and listened, her eyes would be unusually lively and bright. The camera would inevitably favor beauties. Keep 3 close-up shots of Ningxi and put her together with Jiang Mai's, the director said to his assistant. After the show, Ning Xuelua said goodbye to the crew with a smile, chatted with Ningxi and the director for a while, and then got into the nanny van. As soon as she got in the car, the smile on Ning Xueluo's face immediately turned dark. She picked up her phone and called home. Chapter 806. Chang Li and the assistant were obviously used to Ning Xueluo's low pressure and bad temper these days. They tried not to say anything to reduce their presence so that they would not be implicated. Ling Hao's grandpa? Ning Xueluo asked the maid. Miss, the old master is doing well. He went fishing with Elder Shi this morning and came back in the evening. He seems to be in good spirits too. How's the investigation I asked you to do? I've already checked. During the days that master was in the hospital, apart from the family members and a few shareholders of the company, no one suspicious went there. What about Ningxi? The nurse said she went there a few times, but only to see the old master and chat with him. She didn't do anything special. All right, I got it. Ning Xuelua hung up after the call. She looked even worse. What was going on? The old master was dying the day before. Why did he suddenly get better and better? He even went to the company for a shareholders meeting yesterday. Those shareholders who were ready to switch sides to Ning Yaohua's side when they saw that the old master was about to die. But when they saw that the old master was still healthy, They all gave up on the idea and held back. Although Ning Yaohua was the one managing the company, the real power and shares were still in the old master's hands. Not only was the situation at home a mess, but history had been having problems ever since the Golden Apex Awards. After the Fashion Week, Zailing had snatched more than a dozen big orders. Although these orders were just a drop in the bucket for them, it was definitely not a good sign if Zailing was allowed to continue to grow stronger. However, the most important thing right now was to do the most important thing. Her top priority was to gain a huge network of connections through the entertainment industry. She couldn't afford to lose this position. How's Ningxi doing recently? What movie did she get? Ning Xuelua asked cautiously. She just got a supporting role in a movie. How many resources can she get? I heard that she was interested in the female lead of a movie, but Liang Biqin took her away. Don't worry, as long as Su Yimo is there. She won't have a good time in Golden Era, Changli said. Ning Xuelua's expression softened a little. Help me take on more literary films with positive images. The director must be an award-winning one. The pay doesn't matter. Changli immediately understood what Ning Xuelua meant. Although indie films were unpopular and the box office was low, it was easy to win awards. In the past, Ning Xuelua would not have bothered to accept it. However, Ning Xuelua's current popularity was enough. What she lacked was a heavyweight award. Under the Heavens, which had an unknown future, was far from enough. In the Yangtze River, the waves behind drive on the waves before. There were too many young stars in the same generation, and all of them wanted to go one step further and become more powerful. The competition for the next Golden Horse Awards would definitely be fierce. Got it. I'll try my best to help you pick it up. Changli agreed, but in fact she had her own difficulties. This was because Ning Xuelua had been too eager for success and instant benefits. She had acted in too many commercial films and television dramas that had poor box office ratings. Although her popularity among the people was quite high, her entire standard had been pulled down. Directors who were really aiming for awards would not be willing to find someone like Ning Xuelu, even if they were to find an unknown newcomer. Chapter 807. A few days later, the interview was broadcast and the effect was very good. Other than Zhao Xizhou and Jiang Mai's fans, who were arguing over who would get more screen time and who would get less screen time, Zhao Xizhou and Jiang Mai's fans started a routine dispute. In the end, Ningxi's performance unexpectedly caught the attention of many fans. Ningxi is so low-key, haven't you noticed? That fourth and fifth female lead kept interrupting others to gain more screen time. Ningxi, a real second female lead, didn't even say anything. She only spoke when it was her turn to ask questions, and she answered them all very well. Her EQ is so high. I'm going to become her fan. That's not the point. The point is her looks, okay? Important things must be repeated 3 times. I'm already a fan of them. Hands up. I'm a fan of the CP. I also noticed a small detail. Look at the camera. Jiang Mai's eyes are on Ningxi most of the time. I don't believe they have nothing to do with each other. Because of this interview, Ningxi's Weibo began to gain a new round of fans. Plus the fans she gained during the screening of The World, Ningxi now had a considerable number of fans. Most of the comments were asking her to post photos or asking her about Jiang Mai's situation. Of course, Ningxi wouldn't use another star to gain popularity, even if that person was Jiang Mai. However, taking selfies was too boring, so Ningxi posted some photos of herself as a spy. Originally, she just wanted to post her daily hobbies and relax on Weibo. Unexpectedly, the response was so good that she gained a large number of fans. In the building of Shengshi Entertainment. These are the scripts that were just sent here. Go back and have a look. Lin Jiji handed a pile of scripts to Ningxi. After the release of The World, Ningxi finally had a representative work with a good reputation. The 2 supporting roles, Meng Changge and Sun Huanqing, were no less popular than the main characters, so the number of scripts sent to Lin Jiji's case also increased. Perhaps it was because Ningxi had portrayed the role of Meng Changge so perfectly. She had been asked to play the role of a beautiful demon concubine, the most beautiful woman in the world, or a beautiful vixen. Most of the roles were for the second or third female lead. Occasionally, she would be asked to play the role of the female lead in a small production. Ningxi put away the scripts. Okay, I'll go back and take a good look at them. Lin Jiji pinched between her eyebrows, hesitated for a while, and then said, in addition, Jiang Mai is shooting a new film recently, and there is a small role in which he doesn't have many scenes. Liang Biqin was originally supposed to play the role, but she is shooting another film and has no time to play the role. Now there is no suitable candidate for the role, so I want you to go and answer an urgent call. Jiang Mai's new play. The one directed by Shin Mian? Sure, of course, no problem. Ningxi readily agreed. Even a cameo role in director Shen's movie was an honor, not to mention a role that could show one's face. Besides, Jiang Mai had helped her a lot. It was not a big deal for her to save him. When Liang Biqin took the small supporting role, she was not as famous as she was now. Now that she was famous and had accepted a big production from a famous director with a huge salary, how could she still be interested in such a small role? Lin Jiji handed her a script. There aren't many scenes, so it should be finished soon. I've already singled out your part. Chapter 808. Because the crew was in a hurry, Ningxi and Lin Jiji discussed it for a while, and then rushed to the set with Xiaotao. She was going to play the role of Jiang Mai's deceased first love. There was only one scene before their death, so it was quite simple. If everything went well, it would be over in a day. Why are you here? Jiang Mai looked at her suspiciously. Big sister Jiji asked me to come and help. Ningxi replied. Jiang Mai turned his eyes to Lei Ming. Lei Ming coughed and mumbled. You've seen more than a dozen scenes and you're still not satisfied. I had no choice but to ask Jiji for help. Ningxi was speechless. I'm speechless. There was only one scene from the beginning to the end. The director didn't even say anything. Why are you so picky? What's wrong with one scene? She's my first love, Jiang Mai said with a self-righteous expression. Ningxi's mouth twitched. Let me correct you. She was my first love in the play. She was really speechless about Jiang Mai. She had never seen an actor who was so difficult to please. In a play, the male and female leads were often more powerful than the director and producer. Shin Mian couldn't do anything to him. Shin Mian was in his early 30s. He started to act as soon as he graduated from college. His first work, Stars, Moon and Sun, became popular all over the country and was named Asian Star by American Business Weekly. The female lead in the film was so popular that she was now one of the top stars in the entertainment industry. Later, the youth film Love in the Future won the box office that year and led to a large number of youth films. Shin Mian was a very talented director. She always liked to shoot something unexpected. Whether it was the script or the actors, she had a very good eye for talent. It was a pity that although the films he had made in the past few years were not bad, none of them could surpass those two films. Some people even said that he had run out of ideas. Ningxi felt it was a pity, but she also knew that for a director like Shin Mian, this was an inevitable compromise after she entered the circle. Director Shen, he's here. Can you have a look? Lei Ming ran to the director and said. What's the use of me having a look? Is that kid willing? Shin Mian and Jiang Mai had worked together several times, and they had a good relationship in private, so they spoke casually. Everything's fine on our side. I'm just waiting for your nod, Lei Ming said hurriedly. If he had a choice, he wouldn't have borrowed people from Lin Jiji. Every time he was stuck between Jiang Mai and the director, it was very difficult for him. Oh. Shin Mian, who was busy with work, finally walked over. Seeing the director, Ningxi immediately greeted him. Hello Director Shen, I'm Ningxi. Shin Mian looked Ningxi up and down. Ningxi, you're the second female lead in Director Guo's The World, right? Ningxi didn't expect Shin Mian to know her, so she was happy. Yes. No wonder this fellow has no objections. I've seen your movie. Jiang Mai's acting skills are at their peak. Shin Mian couldn't help but take another look at the girl in front of her. From the audience's point of view, they only saw that the two were a good match and cooperated well with each other. They also saw the change of Jiang Mu's wild acting. However, he had worked with Jiang Mai several times. He could tell at a glance that this woman must have some skills to improve Jiang Mai's acting skills to such an extent. Chapter 809. After confirming that there were no problems, Shen Mian began to talk to Ningxi about the scene. The scene went very smoothly. They finished it in 3 takes. The other 2 takes were for different angles. At last, Shen Mian looked back at the scene in the camera and sighed with emotion. No wonder Master Guo praised this newcomer so many times in the director's circle. After the shooting, Ningxi changed into casual clothes for convenience. After all, more and more people knew her now. Ningxi had been very busy these 2 days. Finally, she took the opportunity to pick her up. Jiang Mai immediately ran over to stop her with shining eyes. Do you want to play with me tonight? I only need 3 more rounds to advance. I can't lose. What do I get if I help you advance? Ningxi slightly raised her eyebrows. You want me to get something for such a small thing? Are we still brothers? Jiang Mai tomorrow. Shen Mian was about to talk to Jiang Mai. She was stunned when she saw the young man beside him. Your friend? Jiang Mai's mouth twitched. Director, you just met this guy, okay? Ningxi coughed lightly and shook her hand. Director, it's me. Shen Mian was stunned and looked like she had seen a ghost. You are Ningxi? The young man in front of her was wearing a black leather motorcycle suit. He had neat short hair and unruly eyebrows. Obviously, he was a man who didn't look like Jiang Mai. But if you looked carefully, you would find that it was indeed Ningxi's face. Why was it that the same person, with just a change of clothes and a change of makeup, would have such a huge difference in change? This kind of change in temperament from the inside to the outside was not something that could be achieved by changing clothes and wearing a wig. Even acting couldn't be so natural and perfect. Well, being an actor is too restrictive, so I have to think of a way. Director, you know. Ningxi showed a tacit expression. After changing into this man's suit after work, Ningxi's tone and expression naturally changed. Those who didn't know her would think that there was a free and unruly man living in her body. Shen Mian couldn't describe the feeling deep in her heart at this moment. It was the kind of excitement that she hadn't felt for a long time. Director Shen. Director Shen, what's wrong? Ningxi's hair stood on end from that fiery gaze. Displeased, Jiang Mai waved his hand in front of Shen Mian, interrupting her line of sight. Hey Director Shen, don't tell me you like men. What kind of gaze was that? Shen Mian swatted his hand away. Get lost. If I liked men, you'd be the first one I'd sleep with. Ningxi burst into laughter. She didn't expect Shen Mian to be like this in private. Shen Mian didn't know what was going on. Ever since she saw Ningxi, she had been in a state where she could go berserk at any moment. He took out a cigarette and took a deep puff. Then he took out another one and handed it to Ningxi. Do you smoke? The blue veins on Jiang Mai's forehead bulged. Shen Mian, what the hell are you doing? Ningxi smiled and refused. Director, I quit smoking. Please don't seduce me. Shen Mian stubbed out the cigarette and ran straight ahead. As she ran, she turned her head and said to Ningxi, Wait for me, don't go yet. A moment later, under the confused gazes of Ningxi and Jiang Mai, Shen Mian pulled his assistant over. Chapter 810. Shen Mian's assistant was a young girl in her 20s. She was sorting out the props and was stunned when she was suddenly pulled over. She gasped, Director, why are you in such a hurry? Shen Mian stared at Ningxi with fire in her eyes. Then she glanced at her watch and pointed at the assistant. I'll give you 10 seconds to make her fall in love with you. If you can do it, I promise I'll make you a hit. At this moment, Ningxi, Jiang Mai, the assistant. What? Make a girl fall in love with another girl? Was Shen Mian crazy? While Jiang Mai and his assistant were totally confused, Ningxi had already sensed something in advance. That was an opportunity. The moment Mian started the countdown, Ningxi grabbed the assistant's hand and sat down on a large prop chair behind her. Then she pulled the assistant onto her lap. The little assistant exclaimed subconsciously, but Ningxi frowned and stopped her with a serious look. Don't move. Then Ningxi carefully took off the assistant's high heels and looked at the swollen part of her ankle. Less than 10 seconds had passed, and Ningxi had only said don't move from the beginning to the end. Staring at the man's tense side face and the love in his eyes, the assistant's heart was beating fast and her face was flushed. She couldn't even speak. Shen Mian looked at her and said, "You passed the test. Now come with me." Ningxi helped the assistant take off her high heels and put on her flat sneakers. Then she helped the assistant stand up and stood up herself. She replied to Shen Mian, "Okay." Jiang Mai, who was completely ignored, was speechless. "Damn it. Shen Mian, where are you taking her?" Shen Mian had already driven Ningxi away like a gust of wind. Behind them, the assistant was still staring at the direction of Shen Mian's car. "Senior Jiang, who is that handsome guy? Is the director going to choose him as the male lead of the new show? Oh my god. He's so charming. My heart almost jumped out of my chest when he held me and helped me change my shoes." Jiang Mai's face darkened. "Are you blind? That was a girl just now. That's impossible." The assistant was shocked. Jiang Mai rolled his eyes at her. "What do I get out of lying to you?" The assistant covered her blushing face. "Wow, he's so handsome. It doesn't matter if he's a woman." "Oh no, am I turning gay?" Jiang Mai. Shen Mian took Ningxi to her company. "Sit." Ningxi casually glanced around the office. There weren't any stills or works of art. Shen Mian's office was unusually simple. All that was pasted on the wall were character diagrams and photos of the actors and actresses. "I have a script that has been backlogged for 3 years because I haven't been able to find a suitable female lead. I could have found a few popular artists and cooked them all together. The box office earnings wouldn't be too bad, but I can't bear to part with this script," Shen Mian said as she opened the bottom drawer with a key and took out a script. The pages of the script had already turned yellow. It was obvious that someone had read it many times. Ningxi carefully took the script and read the outline. After reading it, he finally understood why Shen Mian had acted so strangely just now. She dressed up as a man? Chapter 811. "Yes, have you read Shakespeare's Twelfth Night?" Shen Mian asked. Ningxi's eyes lit up and she nodded. Yes. It was one of Shakespeare's classic comedies, and it was also Ningxi's favorite one of Shakespeare's comedies. It was about a pair of twin brothers who got separated in a shipwreck and thought each other was dead. The younger sister disguised herself as a man and became the Duke's servant. She fell in love with the Duke, but the Duke was deeply in love with another countess. The younger sister ran errands for the Duke to woo the countess, but the Duke fell in love with the younger sister who disguised herself as a man and rejected the Duke. The most important character in the play was the courageous, passionate and pure younger sister. She disguised herself as a man and stayed by her sweetheart's side. She loved him silently and chased after him for him, but at the same time, hinted to him that she loved him very much. The other female character in the play was the Countess whom the male lead fell in love with. She was smart, beautiful, kind-hearted, loyal and persistent, and cherished friendship. She rejected the love of the noble Duke and fell in love with the female lead, who was just a servant. In the end, she courted the twin brother who she mistook for the younger sister. The two female leads got what they wanted and got their own happiness. It was a very positive and beautiful work. This script is based on Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, but it's set in modern times, so it's more in line with modern people's tastes. However, I don't want to make it into a simple urban idol drama, so I have high expectations for the actors, Shen Mian explained. Ningxi nodded to show that she understood. At the same time, a fire was ignited in her heart. Shen Mian's script was definitely much better than the one she had read before. She had only read the previous script because there were a lot of exciting scenes to play with, but she still had her own selfish motives. But this one was much better in terms of plot and moral. Moreover, Shen Mian had worked on it for 3 years. Shen Mian looked at the dusk outside the window. He was only in his early 30s, but his face looked as if he had aged a long time ago. It was as if all his passion had been exhausted, he said mockingly. When I first entered the industry, I was full of passion for art, for dreams, but now, do you know how people make movies nowadays? It's not the director or the scriptwriter who decides what to shoot, it's the investors. As for the director, he was not a creator. At best, he was just a puppet, a worker. Artist. That's all bullshit. Ningxi didn't know what to say. This was the state of the industry, and it wasn't something that one or two people could change. In the end, even a talented director like Shen Mian had to compromise. However, Shen Mian was still unwilling to give up. Ningxi, there are some things that I have to make clear to you in advance. I'm planning to shoot this film on my own. I won't accept any investment, so the pay won't be too high. Furthermore, everyone, including you, will be using newcomers. Therefore, the risk is very high, and it's very likely that it will fail. Even the reputation that under the heavens, that you've worked so hard to build up will be destroyed. So, you have to think carefully about whether you want to accept it or not. Shen Mian said with a hint of nervousness in her eyes. It wasn't easy for him to meet Ningxi. He was prepared to go all out, but he had no right to ask others to go crazy with him. Chapter 8:12. Hearing this, Ningxi smiled and stood up. She stretched out her hand to Shen Mian. Her eyes were clear and bright. Director Shen, you've bet 10 years of your career as a director. It's just the world, so I'm the winner. And to be honest, I've been waiting for this script for a long time. So there's no need to think about it. Director Shen, it's a pleasure working with you. Shen Mian was surprised, and then reached out to shake the girl's hand. It's a pleasure working with you, because it was a dream that had never been extinguished in his heart. He attached so much importance to it that he couldn't allow it to have any flaws. His ambition made him want an actress like Hilary Swank, who had won an Oscar in Boys Don't Cry, who could act so well that it was hard to tell whether she was a man or a woman. But nowadays, those young stars and internet celebrities were popular. How could he ask them to dress up as a man? It would be a blockbuster. He would rather keep the script in the drawer for the rest of his life than touch it. However, just when he had completely compromised with reality, and was taking a lot of money from investors every day to shoot commercial blockbusters that made his heart not waver, he just happened to see Ningxi, and he saw his unwillingness that had not been extinguished. Shen Mian pondered for a moment, and then said seriously, maybe I should treat Jiang Mai to a meal. If he wasn't so hard to please, I wouldn't have met you. Well, I really can't refute that. Ningxi laughed. It seems that I have to treat him to a meal too. Do you usually dress like this? Shen Mian asked. At the same time, she glanced at Ningxi. Ningxi's facial features were exquisite, but there was not a trace of femininity in her demeanor or appearance. Not really. I only dress like this when I need to. When she was abroad, she used to dress up as a man. After coming back, she rarely wore it, but she had gotten used to it, and the feeling was still there. You are very natural. It even makes me feel that you have always been like this. You don't even need to use your acting skills. Shen Mian looked at her inquisitively. Originally, I planned to let the lead actress prepare at least a month in advance and dress up as a man so that she can fully get into character. It seems that you don't need to do that. I've observed you, and you get into character quickly. Ningxi actually wanted to say that she really didn't know how to act. After she put on men's clothes, she naturally became like this. However, in this drama, she would have to play two roles. Not only would she have to play the female lead, but she would also have to play the female lead's twin brother. Therefore, the pressure was quite great. She really needed to prepare and study the characters. The movie I'm working on will be finished in a few days. After that, I'll start casting. You can use this time to prepare. If there's anything you don't understand or need help with, feel free to come to me. Keep your phone connected. I'll contact you to join the crew when everything is ready. Alright, I got it. Thank you, Director Shen. One last thing. In order to avoid interference, I'm going to keep the filming a secret and not do any publicity. Do you have any problems with that? No problem. After leaving Chen Mian's place, Ningxi couldn't wait to tell Lin Jiji the news. Lin Jiji was very happy for her, and said that she would fully support her, and discuss the details of the cooperation with the other side as soon as possible. Finally, Ningxi's new show was officially confirmed. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.